When these images were taken, no one thought they mattered. They weren't meant to prove anything. They weren't meant to last. Most were created for routine reasons: documentation, memory, record keeping, and then quietly stored away. Years passed, in some cases decades. Only later did historians, scientists, and investigators realize something unsettling. These ordinary images had captured details no one knew how to recognize at the time. Not predictions, not accidents, but evidence waiting for knowledge to catch up. The police photos that solved cold cases, the photograph never moved. The truth did. At first, they were just procedure. Crime scenes photographed under harsh lights, angles measured, details recorded. Investigators weren't looking for hidden meaning. They were documenting what they already understood: weapons, footprints, obvious damage. Millions of these images were taken by police departments and archived. Most were never viewed again. Years later, cold case units began digitizing old evidence, not because they expected answers, but because technology finally allowed it. With modern forensic tools, image enhancement, facial recognition, and pattern analysis, details began to surface. A reflection in glass that revealed a second figure, a shadow that contradicted witness testimony, an object in the background that placed a suspect at the scene. The photographs had not changed. The ability to interpret them had. In multiple real investigations, archived crime scene photos corrected timelines, identified suspects, and reopened cases long considered unsolvable. The evidence had been there all along. It had simply waited. The space photos that revealed a planet's true surface. The images arrived first. Understanding came decades later. When the photographs were transmitted, they were difficult to interpret. Grainy, distorted, incomplete. They came from the Soviet Venera landers in the 1970s, probes designed for survival, not discovery. Their mission was simple: touch the surface of Venus, transmit proof, then fail. At the time, scientists struggled to make sense of what they were seeing. The surface appeared flat, featureless, almost lifeless. The images were archived as technical milestones, not scientific revelations. Years later, planetary scientists revisited those same photographs. With improved understanding of Venus's atmosphere, pressure, and geology, the details changed meaning. Rock formations became visible. Surface textures suggested volcanic activity. Erosion patterns hinted at a dynamic past. The photos had quietly recorded Venus's true surface decades before science knew how to read it. The planet had revealed itself early. Science just wasn't ready to listen. Aerial survey photos that revealed an ancient civilization. The land looked empty. The photographs said otherwise. The images were taken during a routine mid-20th century aerial survey. Black and white photographs, captured from aircraft, filed and cataloged. Surveyors saw nothing unusual, just uneven terrain, scattered stone, natural erosion. The photographs were archived and forgotten. Years later, archaeologists revisiting historical aerial data noticed something subtle: geometric patterns, repeated alignments, shapes that did not occur naturally. Excavations confirmed what the photographs had quietly preserved. A large prehistoric site, built thousands of years earlier. The civilization had left no written records, no monuments visible at ground level. The images had recorded its existence decades before archaeology understood what it was seeing. The discovery didn't come from digging first. It came from looking again. Medical images that explained disease years later. The scan looked normal. Time proved otherwise. Early medical imaging was designed for immediate diagnosis. X-rays, CT scans, routine hospital records. Doctors focused on visible symptoms and immediate injuries. The images were stored once treatment ended. Years later, medical researchers reviewing archived X-rays and CT scans from the 1960s and 70s noticed patterns, subtle structural changes, early abnormalities, signs that had once seemed insignificant. Conditions thought to appear suddenly were shown to develop slowly, recorded long before diagnosis was possible. The scans had not been flawed. Medical understanding had simply arrived later. Satellite images that exposed environmental damage. The damage wasn't hidden, it was gradual. Early satellite images were captured for mapping and observation. They weren't meant to tell stories. They were stored year after year, Decades later, scientists compared those images across time. Lakes shrinking, forests thinning, coastlines shifting. Changes too slow to notice from the ground became undeniable from space. The damage had gone undocumented locally, but the satellites never stopped watching. The proof had been orbiting Earth the entire time. Industrial photos that preserved lost technology. The machines were ordinary. Their knowledge wasn't. Old factory photographs showed workers posing beside equipment. At the time, these machines were common. Blueprints were discarded, methods undocumented. Many images came from early 20th century factories where record-keeping was minimal. Years later, historians studying the photos noticed something strange. Machinery designs that didn't match known engineering methods, construction techniques no longer reproducible. The photographs became the only surviving evidence of how certain processes worked. The technology vanished. The images endured. Landscape photos that recorded places that no longer exist. The photograph survived. The place didn't. Some images captured environments that later disappeared. Wetlands drained, villages erased, ecosystems lost. At the time, they were scenic photographs, nothing more. Years later, they became the only visual record of places that no longer exist. No written descriptions remained, only images. Identification photos that revealed historical inconsistencies. The face was familiar, the record wasn't. Identification photos exist to confirm identity. Passports, military files, employment records. Years later, historians noticed inconsistencies. Individuals appearing where official records placed them elsewhere. Uniforms that didn't align with documented timelines. The images didn't rewrite history. They revealed gaps where history was incomplete. Scientific photos that became proof years later. The experiment failed. The image didn't. Some scientific images seemed inconclusive. The data was archived, the theories abandoned. Years later, new research returned to those same images. Patterns emerged. The photographs became confirmation. The experiment hadn't failed. Understanding had arrived late. The final image of a place that vanished. The photograph had no label. That was the warning. The image sat unnoticed in an archive. Years later, historians identified the location. The site had already been destroyed. No preservation records existed. No official documentation survived. The photograph became the last known visual record of a place that vanished without acknowledgement. History does not always announce itself. Sometimes it waits, quietly preserved inside ordinary images. These photographs were not important when they were taken. They became important later, when knowledge finally caught up. If you're interested in stories where the past reveals itself slowly, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Rapid Rank, where history waits to be understood.